Welcome back to the show. This is KDS Reviews. This is a special viewer request of a 1993 film, Fire in the Sky, starring D.B. Sweeney, Robert Patrick, and James Garner. Now, this tells the story of Travis Walton, who in 1975 was allegedly abducted by aliens. Now, this story starts off with a group of loggers here up in the woods, cutting trees down and such, doing their little project. And on their way back here, they see this light, this red light in the sky, just above the tree limbs and stuff. And they want to go investigate it, even though they're scared, And then D.B. Sweeney wants to get out the truck and investigate it himself, but just himself. But first, curious. Only himself. Now he goes out there and he's hit with a beam of light and he disappears. Now the rest of the loggers, they want to get out of there now. They just take off. They don't even care about, they just, oh no, we got to get out of here. We don't know. They killed him. But halfway down the road, Robert Patrick says that he'll go back and look at them. They're all terrified, but he said he'll go back and try to find him and everything. He tells everybody else to get out of the truck, and just him will go back. The second curious thing, Now he disappears. He comes back, says he can't find him. He must be dead because he's nowhere to be seen. Now they go back into town, and they tell the story to an investigator played by James Garner, who does a really good role here. They tell him about that it was a UFO, and that's what happened to him, and disappeared. Now, Garner is real skeptical about everything they're saying. He doesn't believe it. He thinks they're covering something else up. But they keep insisting upon this, and he doesn't believe them. They'd be kind of a scourge into town, a joke into town. They want to, and the people in the town are scared, and they want to know what really happened. And they keep sticking with the story about the UFO. So the police then want to bring them in for questioning and then bring them in also to take a lie detector test. Now, at first, they don't want to do it. Second, why not? But eventually, they give in. And they come back and they take the test. Now, the results of the test come back mostly true of what they've been telling. But there's a little bit, some of the questions that were asked, they were inconclusive. But like I said, they keep sticking with the story about the UFO. Now, Garner doesn't believe any of this, and he's getting closer and closer, where he looks like he's going to arrest them for murder. But then 5 days later, D.B. Walton's character, D.B. Sweeney's character, Travis Walton, comes back in town. He doesn't come back in town, really. He contacts Robert Patrick's character, He drives out there. He suspiciously, to me, finds exactly the gas station where he was. Another kind of curious thing about this. But Walton doesn't have any memory about what happened. He doesn't even know what's going on. He didn't even know he was out for 5 days. He don't remember anything. And then he has this event here with the doctor that he was with, where he remembers everything that went on the spaceship here, and how he looked and what he saw, and they had him in a pod, and then the aliens saw him, and then put him on an exam table, and they start doing all this, the examination of him, put him in this, wrapped him up in this cocoon thing, this little spooky scene in this whole movie, And, Garner, he hears that story. He doesn't believe him. There's been no crime committed here, though. He's back in town. But he doesn't believe any of this. He thinks that they just made this up for attention and everything. He keeps saying that, one day they're going to slip up and the real truth is going to come out. Now, years later, Travis Walton's got his life back together again. He gets with Robert Patrick's character and he goes back to the spot where the abduction took place. And he still insists this is the real thing that happened, And then the movie starts to go off, and you get these liner notes that said years later they were taking the lie detector again, and they passed it. So this really happened? You watch the movie and make up your own mind about it. This is KDS Reviews. And KDS Reviews is seen every Wednesday and every Sunday. If you like this type of content, then like, subscribe, and share. And yes, Stephanie, the alien part of the movie was spooky. This is KDS Reviews, and I'll see you in the next video.